Hello and welcome to yet another Patreon Q&A video. It's been a while since the last one, and with this one, certainly I could probably turn the gain down a little bit on the microphone. Bear with me. Bear with me. And that seems a little bit better. I'll leave this one in for free. Do you know why? Because that's the kind of guy I am. Alright, so this is the Patreon Q&A for June. Yeah, I'm going to do one for July. I really want to keep up with this, so maybe there'll be a Q&A in like another 2 weeks. So to all my Patreon supporters, please send me your questions in on the Facebook group we have, or through Patreon, or through Facebook if you have me, Twitter. If you have me on a social media, send me some questions for the next one, and I'll try and get that one out so that by the time we get to the August Q&A, it'll be at the end of August. So we'll see how it goes. I know that you probably run out of questions, but let's get on with this one. So Tom Gertz says, what is your most anticipated movie for the second half of 2018? I think you asked this, or someone asked me this on Instagram recently, and I just didn't really have many. Most of my anticipated films for 2018 have already come out, like Mission Impossible. That was really up there, but even then, at the beginning of the year, I didn't really have many that I was that excited about, because 2017 was like Blade Runner, you know, War for the Planet of the Apes, The Last Jedi, Logan, all these amazing films that had the promise to be amazing as well. So, you know, 2018, I think 2018 has been amazing. I think there's been some fucking incredible films this year. Really, really great stuff, but just stuff I wasn't really anticipating as much. Things that have come out of nowhere and really surprised me, like Hereditary or Leave No Trace, you know, or A Quiet Place even. You know, these films that I just hadn't really heard much about, and then they came out, went to see them and loved them. A Game Night is another one. You know, it's just been some great films this year. So I think my most anticipated for the rest of the year would probably be First Man. I've loved Damien Chazelle's first two films, that being Whiplash and La La Land. Love Ryan Gosling, really big fan of his, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. And also I think The Crimes of Grindelwald is a film I'm really looking forward to. Fantastic Beasts was a real surprise a few years ago. I really, really enjoyed that and didn't think I would, so I'm quite looking forward to that one. And I'm sure there's going to be a boatload of really great Oscar bait films coming out in like December. So I look forward to those, even though we know nothing about them yet. Or at least I don't. He also says, what TV shows are you currently watching? I just started watching Better Call Saul. Season 4 dropped on Netflix in the UK yesterday. Fantastic start to the season. I mean, I just was like holding my breath in that first 8 minutes, and really nothing is happening. You know, it's a show that I could watch like a 5-hour episode of that show where not much is happening, and I would still be so engaged, and I love what they're doing over there. I really, really do. I think that Better Call Saul has risen to a level that it really has no right to have done. You know, it's just as good as Breaking Bad, and I never thought I'd say that, and it just keeps getting better. Obviously, early days of Season 4, but Season 3 was incredible, and it's a really good, slow but promising start to Season 4. Otherwise, we're watching, I think we're on the 3rd season now of Penn and Teller Fool Us, which is a great reality show. Really, really fun and entertaining. I recommend it. I think the first 2 series are still on UK Netflix. That's how we started watching it. And me and Connie are also going through Gavin and Stacey, which I didn't think Connie would enjoy, but she's really actually finding it funny, and I quite like the show as well. Many of the scenes that were filmed around my hometown and stuff, so it's like, oh yeah, that's that place. Oh, that's where my nan lived. You know, oh, I've been to that house. Oh, I used to serve that guy in work every day. You know, very familiar, the setting of that show. It's weird with Gavin and Stacey because you have the two sets, the two families of characters, one in Wales, one in Essex. But I know for a fact that the house they shoot for Essex is in Dinnett's Powys, which is just over from my hometown by about 5 minutes, and I've seen that house in passing. So it's I can't get into the mindset that they're in England in this scene, because I know that that's in, you know, South Wales. So there's kind of the geography just doesn't sit right with me. I wonder if that's the same with people who watch a TV show or a movie where they know that that is not the location it's supposed to be, and you can't fully buy into that. So that's kind of some of the TV shows that I'm watching at the minute. I'm also watching Cowboy Bebop, which is fucking awesome. And I'm really kind of slowly drip feeding myself through the rest of the series. I want to really savor it because it's so great. It's just, the only term I can think of for Cowboy Bebop that's really just a really crass way to put it, but Cowboy Bebop is fucking cool as shit. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. I love it. Tom also asks, and this really shows how old these questions are. I apologize. 6 weeks old, apparently. Who should win the World Cup? Football. And do you watch football? No, I don't watch football. And I started a new job about 6 weeks ago, I guess, when the World Cup was on. And all I got every day was like, oh, do you know when the match is on? And I'm just like, nope. You know, they're like, oh, how can you be in work? It's the England game. And I'm like, don't care. And people get really offended. I actually had someone, a customer at the place I used to work in. It was a short-lived job. I've moved on to a different job now. And the customer said to me, you know, what's the time for the game? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, oh, aren't you interested? I was like, no, don't really care about football. And he's like, that's amazing. He's like, oh, you're so fascinating. He's like, do you have a life? And it sounds like he's taking the piss, but he genuinely didn't understand how I functioned as a human being without being a fan of football. He's like, rugby? And I said, nope. And he's like, well, what do you like then? You know, and it was just really, really strange. It's just like, dude, I don't like football. It's just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm a tennis guy. I like that kind of a sport. Football doesn't really do my thing. So who do you think should win the World Cup? I would have had no opinion on that. I still have no opinion on that. It just means very little to me. The last time I was into football was the 2002 World Cup, when everyone was playing football like in the break times at school, and I think we even watched the quarterfinal with England and Brazil in the school hall instead of classes that morning, and it was fun and exciting. I think I bought a bunch of DVDs, like football DVDs and all that, got really into it, and then just fizzled out, and I was never interested in it again. Tom also asks, and I embrace this to my Patreon supporters, send as many questions in as you want, I'll get to all of them. The last question, how do you feel about the moral dilemma of watching movies or series with people who are incriminated or accused of things? For example, Woody Allen, Kevin Spacey, Roman Polanski. I've talked about this before. It's tough for me. I don't think I can ever fully buy into separating the art from the artist completely. In the case of Polanski, you know, that's kind of a cast iron thing, what he did, you know, and just his current status really shows you that there was smoke and fire to that situation. I recently watched last year Rosemary's Baby. Thought it was an incredible horror film, so well done. And I chose to kind of appreciate the work of the actors and the cinematographer, you know, and all these the production design, the music and things. And I thought it was a fantastic film, but I couldn't find myself fully loving it because it was orchestrated by this guy who did something that was really horrible, you know. It's just one of those things. With Woody Allen, I find it really difficult to fully embrace his films too, even though I think that they have some great writing and performing, and some of the stories are really good. But I tried to really look into the Woody Allen thing once, and I was horrified by what I found. I then read the other side of the story by another one of his kids, and now, honestly, I've got no idea what to think about Woody Allen. There's two very strong, compelling, and well-reasoned out and well-articulated sides of the story, and I just feel like I got no idea where to sit with that. But even just the fact that it's such a thing still makes me apprehensive to kind of go, oh, he must be innocent then, or oh, he definitely is guilty. It's really tough. So it's not something where I can't do it, you know, I can't watch Usual Suspects anymore, knowing what a grimy piece of fucking shit Kevin Spacey is. I can watch Usual Suspects, or I can watch Seven, but I'm not going to sit there at the end of it going, wow, what a great actor. I'm just going to be sitting there going, what a slime ball, you know, good actor, but man, that fucking sucks. It is what it is. I can never fully separate it, but I'm not someone who kind of refuses to watch things. I try to appreciate the work of the other people who made those films and things like that, but I'm never going to be able to fully embrace them, you know. So that's kind of where I sit with it. And I could talk a lot more about the subject, but it's one of the things that everyone has their own opinion on it. Everyone is very opinionated on that kind of thing. Chris, over from CM42 TV and the Good Bit podcast, asks, when refreshing your subscription feed on YouTube, do you have any videos or channels that you instantly click on when you see a new video is out from them? Is there a particular series that you look forward to, and do you ever immediately watch, or at least add to a watch later playlist as soon as you see it? Excuse me. For me, it's when I see a new Blu-ray hauls, up, down, gameplay videos featuring wrestlers, or even most recently, ironically enough, the RazorwireReviews 50 Greatest Movies Ever series. Okay, that was a very, very long question, but thank you for going in depth with it. no, I don't think that there's anyone that I instantly click on. Even my favorite channels, there are some videos that I'm not gonna watch that one, you know. But I love channels that do that. I love it when channels really, you know, they throw all their interest into their channel. They don't try and cater to the most popular form of video on their channel, you know. So there'll be Zaran Isaac, my favorite YouTuber, probably, I think, and certainly up there at the very top. You know, when he posts a Blu-ray update, you know, even then I won't immediately watch it, but it's like I'm definitely going to watch that when I get the chance to. But he'll post like a gaming video, and it's just like I'm never going to watch that, you know, part 56 of some playthrough. But I love that he does that. I love that he just embraces everything and puts all the variety out there on his channel. So for me, most of the channels that I enjoy and follow and subscribe to are channels that they do their own thing, and they kind of cater to all of their taste and all of their interests, and they don't try and box themselves in. So there isn't really anyone I don't think I could say I watch every video of or click on immediately. I need to use the watch later option a bit more, I think, because I definitely miss out on videos. Time is a big issue for watching videos now. Having two jobs, you know, time is just very, very hard to come by. So I would say there isn't anyone, but the idea that you would click on one of my videos immediately is very nice, and you know, I appreciate that you seem to enjoy the 50 Greatest Movies Ever series. I enjoyed making that very much, and I'm very happy with it. But yeah, there isn't really, I mean, Cinemassacre is a channel I go to a lot. But yeah, you know, there's Blu-ray channels and things that I enjoy watching, and kind of I like to binge watch or binge listen. A lot of times, if it's someone who's just sitting in front of a camera talking about movies and there's no editing, I will just kind of listen to it while I'm doing the dishes or something like that, and maybe kind of queue up and build up a few videos and then listen to them en masse. I like to do that, I think. Aaron Pennington says, what are your top 5 romantic comedies? Here is where a little bit of preparation would have gone in handy. I kind of do these on the fly. But I'll list you some of my favorite romantic comedies. Obviously up there is You've Got Mail. To a lesser degree, Sleepless in Seattle. When Harry Met Sally, I think, is one of the all-time greats. Serendipity probably wouldn't make my top 5, but it's a favorite, I think. So let's think about this. You've Got Mail, When Harry Met Sally. And there's a lot of older ones as well that I quite like as well. But the rom-com genre is one that it's a real comfy genre to me. I really enjoy it. But now that I think about it, romantic comedy, see, it is one of those things. Do you know what I could do? I could be a complete knob right here. I've got my laptop right next to me because I'm using the fancy microphone. And I could actually put romantic comedies. And it might kind of refresh my memory. But You've Got Mail, When Harry Met Sally jumped to mind immediately. And it's coming up with stuff like The Big Sick and Trainwreck. Ugh. Ugh. 40-Year-Old Virgin? I don't know, would you call that a rat? I guess it's a romantic comedy. Notting Hill. I love Notting Hill. It is what it is, and certainly of the Hugh genre cycle, I would say that Notting Hill is an absolute favourite. I love that film ever since I was a kid when it first came out. Just great stuff. That's 10 Things I Hate About You. I love that one too. That rhymed, I didn't mean it to. Big, I guess you could call it big. Groundhog Day. I mean, that's one of my favourite movies ever, and I think one of the best ones I've ever seen, so that would have to be in the top 5. So, yeah, you know, When Harry Met Sally, You've Got Mail, Groundhog Day, Big is up there. As Good as It Gets, that's a great one. That's more of a romantic drama. I love that film so much. It's a really underrated one. I never really hear people talking about it, to be honest. Moonstruck. Yeah, Bringing Up Baby. I would throw that in there, actually. I love Bringing Up Baby. So there you go. Sorry, that's a few I can list that I love. I don't really have a comprehensive top 5 list. Apologies for that. How would you rank the Rocky movies? 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. Did I say 5? I didn't mean to say 5. Let's start that again. Sorry. And this is from best to worst. 1, 2, 6, 4, 3, 5. That's how I would rate them. I don't want to include Creed, but that's a great one. I think Creed would kind of sit in the middle. Kind of, in fact, yeah, if I was to include Creed, it would go from best to worst, or favorite to least favorite, because I enjoy all of them except for kind of Rocky 5. It would go 1, 2, Rocky Balboa, Creed, and maybe if I rewatched them, Creed might be above Rocky Balboa, then 4, 3, and 5. Love the Rocky films. I want to do like a retrospective and talk about all of them, rewatch all of them. And finally, Aaron asks, what does your family think of your channel? Do they watch your videos, and etc.? I don't know. They think it's cool, I guess. I don't think my family watches my channel, really. Even my brother and sister, who frequent YouTube, they don't really watch my videos. My brother Tommy has been in some of my videos, including last year's 24-hour movie marathon. My sister Millie, is quite eager and keen. She wants to start her own YouTube channel, but she's too young yet. So I think they think it's kind of cool, especially when my brother was a bit younger. I think he found it more cool that I had like 3,000 subscribers and stuff, but now he's kind of he's kind of like, oh, I think he probably looks at it completely differently now, and probably thinks I'm a bit, uncool probably, compared to some of the channels that he watches. My dad, I don't think really has seen anything, is aware of it. My mum's the same. I tried to get my mum in the video once. I wanted us to talk about a film that we'd seen, and I said, look, Mum, I'll just film myself, so it's just your voice. Nope, no. So yeah, and then when he gets like grandparents and stuff, they're aware of it. They've watched some of the things I post on Facebook, like maybe the Force Awakens scene we did for 24-hour movie marathon 5. I did like a alternate version of that for Facebook, basically for family, where instead of Connie holding out the Blu-ray of Jean-Claude Van Damme, it was her holding out my cut-off ponytail and then throwing it at me. So I kind of like post little things on my personal Facebook, but not much. So yeah, they're aware of it, but not really something they watch or anything like that. And certainly nothing they would look down on me for or think I'm weird for doing. Maybe they do, I don't know. Thanks for the question. Jody Wood says, which films that don't have a Blu-ray release would you like to see get one? I would say Desu Ozala, Akira Kurosawa's 1975 film. It does have a Blu-ray release now in one of the European countries, like France or Spain or Germany or something. I don't think it has English subtitles though, so that's kind of a shame. So that's an English-friendly Blu-ray release I think is just like essential. I need that film in high definition. But films that don't have a Blu-ray release, I would have jumped to something like The World According to Garp, but that got released a couple of years ago by the Warner Archives, I think. So there's nothing I can think of actually off the top of my head apart from those two, which don't kind of count technically because they have Blu-ray releases. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific, because we're really in an age now where most films have been released. I mean, obviously there's hundreds of thousands probably of movies that don't have a high definition release, but as far as like the grand scheme of things, so many films have been released now. So yeah, I guess I would just say an English-friendly version of Desu Ozala. And actually, even maybe, I'm not sure, there might be some Japanese releases of Kurosawa's early films, I think. But certainly not English-friendly ones. I'd love to have all his films on Blu-ray, including some of the very early ones, Drunken Angel, even the Sanshiro Sagata movies I really enjoy. So, yeah. Similarly, which films do you think deserve a premium Blu-ray release? Criterion, Massive Cinema, and Arrow Video. Now, I want to start making videos actually talking about this. So if you'll kind of bear with me, I will actually make an expanded video about this. I want to do one that says films I think should be in the Criterion Collection, which I'm stealing from a new YouTuber I've come across, Daisuke Beppu, who I talked about in a couple of videos ago. Really good channel, and he has done a couple of videos now about Blu-rays he'd like to see in the Criterion Collection videos. So I'd like to kind of follow suit. So yeah, as far as Massive Cinema, I'd like to see them release more Buster Keaton stuff. I'd like to see them do some Harold Lloyd releases, actually, if possible. It's all about rights, and I do think that Eureka don't have anywhere near the budget of a Criterion or even an Arrow Video. So there's that. But yeah, so hopefully you don't mind me kind of skipping that a little bit and doing an expanded video on the Criterion one. Several of your contemporaries from the backyard wrestling scene have gone on to do pretty well for themselves on the UK scene, in New Japan, and even in WWE. Do you ever wish you had followed them into joining a training school and pursuing things further? Yes and no. I do think about it from time to time, and apologies, the clouds have come over and the lighting is getting quite dim, so apologies for that. Yeah, I think about that. I think if I had, and this is going to sound terrible, and like I've got a massive ego, but it is what it is what I believe. If I had not done backyard wrestling for, how long did I do it for? 10 years. And if I had just at age 16 joined a wrestling school and been smart and stuck at it, I would be in the WWE right now. As long as I didn't get injured or anything along the way. That's just an absolute certainty in my mind. One of my best friends is now signed up with the WWE. He just did a tour with them in Orlando, and it's kind of crazy to kind of, we're chatting away and stuff, and he's talking about how he just met Vince McMahon. There's a lot of pride for me for my friends who have done so well in wrestling, who've come from the backyard wrestling world, and then they've done it. They've put the work in. But at the same time, I don't think that it's the life for me. Not that I would even have the choice to do it now. I'm far too old. But being away from home that much, I like being at home. I like being settled, and that life requires you to be on the road pretty much constantly, and it takes a toll on the body too. And I think the style these days really demands you to put yourself through the ringer, and I just don't think it would be worth it. Honestly, as much as I love it, as much as I still love it, as much as I would love to do it, I really had a knack for it. If I was to, suddenly lose like 3 stone, be in proper great shape right now, and were to go out there and start wrestling on the independent scene, I'd be terrible. I would be shit, because I was never that good, as far as the the very particular small things. Well, I think I was good at some of the small things, but as far as actually doing it professionally, there's a lot of things I know nothing about. But what I did have was this natural aptitude for movement, for pacing, for bumping, for selling. A lot of things I was very good at, and I think with the right training and nurturing and advice and mentoring, I think I would be great. I really do. I really started to get the knack for promos when I was ending my backyard career. But it is what it is. I love it, and I'm really happy to see my friends do well. But, it just wasn't the road for me, I guess. And I had a great time doing backyard wrestling and made some amazing friends from it. So I have no regrets. Finally, your thoughts on the Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd. Not my favourite. I enjoy some of the whimsical nature of those songs. I love See Emily Play. Bike is a favourite. Jug Band Blues is a very haunting and weird and unique song. Arnold Lane is a really fun one. I enjoy Syd Barrett a lot. It's a very tragic story, and I suppose that adds a bit of an allure to it, but certainly not something I listen to very much. As far as Pink Floyd goes, my favourite band of all time. My heart lies in the prime era with Gilmour, I think. Thanks for the questions. Scott Cineram has the final question. He's confused, thought I'd already done one of these already. So you need to come up with something quick. What have been the most effective horror movies of the last 10 years? And in question number 2, you've said in previous videos Connie does not like gangster movies. How would you convince her to see Goodfellas or your own favourite? I just kind of sit her down and say, right, we're doing this. It's about time. I've done that a few times in the past where I've just put a movie in and said, we're watching this right now and there's nothing you can say about it. And she gets kind of taken aback by it, and then she'll kind of go with it for a bit. I think the best chance I have of showing Connie a gangster movie is in the 24-hour movie marathon. I think she realizes that it's going to be interesting for the video, and it's going to make the video interesting. So I think she'll be game for it, but she needs to be prepared for it, I think. But there's not much I can do to kind of convince her and make her kind of perk up and go, oh, I really want to watch this now. And as for what have been the most effective horror movies of the last 10 years, I would say The Conjuring was incredible, really surprised me. I thought that was a fantastic horror film. There have been some really good ones the past few years, but I think the top spot would absolutely go to Hereditary. It's a film that I still have mixed feelings on. I don't think the ending, the last 5 minutes, really works for me. But as far as a horror movie goes, at least what I think a true great horror movie should do to really unsettle you, to horrify you, is to give you this feeling, this where you physically are moved by it. Not like moved to tears, but like you're moved in an uncomfortable, unsettling way. And the only 2 times I've ever fully experienced that in such an absolutely gripping, captivating way is with The Exorcist and Hereditary. You know, I've seen both of those films one time each, and both those viewings, I've just been like, for 2 hours, just completely entrenched in that story and kind of just so unsettled, but not able to take my eyes away from the screen. I think that is the mark of a true great horror film. Obviously, there are different kinds of horror films that just thrill you with cheap scares and stuff. They're fine too. I think The Conjuring, again, is a really great one, and there have been quite a few over the past few years that have been really something special. But The Conjuring stands out to me. I think Insidious is a really cool one, but Hereditary for me takes the top spot. And I now realize that my face is only lit by my laptop because the clouds have completely blackened the sky. So yeah, I guess we got rid of the heat, but now it's the rain. Oh well. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Again, to my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support every month. It really is just fantastic. Thank you so much. And please send more questions in if you have them, of course, for the July Q&A. I'll try and do that in the next couple of weeks, and then we can kind of get caught up for August, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I really want to commit to doing one every month, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to give you guys too much extra stuff, but it's been really difficult with the heat and with a lot of stuff going on in my life right now to kind of make videos, but doing my best to get back on track. And that's about it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.